Good afternoon. In this video, we're going to go over this past week's trades and the weekly recap. Before I get into the recap, I did finish the week with 22 wins and 7 losses for a win rate of 78.6%. Below my 80% goal, so a little disappointing, but a couple mistakes here and there, but otherwise satisfied with the week. Considering that half my losses were on actually Friday, so we'll get into that when we get into that. Also, please like the video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. You can find the room's link in the description of the video and in the bio section of my social media accounts. Now, you can also go on Twitter and you can see the timestamps of the alerts throughout the week. With that said, we'll just jump right into it and start going over the trades because it's going to probably be a long video now. Roku, well, I'll get to Roku when I get to Roku. I'll go down in order now. Monday, let's see. Trade Ideas channel on Monday. What was Monday the 15th? Twitter calls over 52.80, Snap calls over 54.50, SPY puts under 468, Disney calls over 161. Now, if you're not familiar with the Trade Ideas and you're new to the room or me, the channel that every morning pre-market, about 10-15 minutes before market opens, I post 2 to 3 plays that I'm watching right at open, and I try to post throughout the day, but sometimes you just can't do that. You just notice things on the fly or news drops or something like that. So I try to do it, and I know that this past week haven't done as much as I normally do because of that. I just been spontaneous on a lot of the plays this week, so that might have been some of the reasons why I took some losses. So but I'm not going to make excuses. It is what it is. So the first trade of the week was Twitter. Now let me get Twitter up. How did I manage to do that? Okay, Twitter, let's see, Monday, right here. And that actually worked out really well. Went right over my 52.80 area, which was pre-market highs. And that was a strong candle that opened. So I had the 53 calls at $1.03 and then went to $1.49. You get spoiled with SPX and you see these big, large candles and you think they're going to be 100-200% moves, and they're not really. And when you get used to SPX, that would normally been the case, but not on something like that. So not on Twitter. So I do focus a lot on SPX. So you got to make sure you have a broker that allows you to trade expiration days on SPX, because that is pretty much what I really focus on, and that is where the real money is expiration day. And yeah, you can obviously make money on non-expiration days and swinging and day trading and stuff like that, but you're not going to find those plays that's going to go from $2 to $20 on some of these stocks, unless you're playing like Shopify or Tesla or something like that, and they have a large move. You can get that, but to me, SPX just gives you these 100% to 1,000% moves pretty much every single expiration day, and that's why I love it. You time it right, you pick the right play. It's you get these big moves on SPX, which is the next one is SPY. I picked let's see, SPX. Let's get the day right here first, right here. I picked SPX 4680 puts at $3, right at let's see, they blended in like usual. I hate that they do that. Where is it? No, it went back way too far. 941, right? I got it right on this next candle. Right when it came back down, and I did say in the pre-market, SPY puts on the 468, and it got right at the 468. Then it popped back up. Then it finally came down. So If you held all the way through, even through this chop area, those puts went from $3 to 10.90, which is 100% move, 200% move, sorry. So that would have been clean. Nice play. Then I had Roku. Roku has burned me twice this week and last week. This thing just keeps going down and down. And the thing I really can't stand about Roku, it's not even Roku's fault. I mean, it gets momentum right here, then the analysts shut it down. That had earnings and it started to get momentum right here, right in here. Analysts shut it down. I mean, this thing, anytime it got, I think another one was right here, was an analyst. 2 or 3 times in the last large green days on Roku that an analyst has come out and downgraded it. And this big drop right here, the analyst had downgraded it. Was a nobody. No one even knows who he is. He got a bunch of bad reviews, I guess, and it's not like it was somebody from JP Morgan City. It was just some unknown analyst, and yet it was just an excuse for Roku to keep dropping. I mean, I hate these analysts that do that. I mean, they're snakes because they like to downgrade so the price will drop so they can get cheaper shares, and they like to upgrade at all-time highs or after massive long moves so they can try to sell and get greedy. So I really can't stand these analysts. So that's just my opinion about them. I think they're sleazeballs. But anyways, I did grab let's see, the 15th right here. Let me get 15th up. Is this the 15th? Yeah, I grabbed Roku right here. Now, what I was looking at was, this is the 15th, 16th. Now, what I was looking at was this area right here on the hourly. I was thinking that once we get over this area from 278, 280, we get over this 282 area, it's going to make a really, really strong move. And at this particular time, that Roku's already been beaten down quite a bit from 333 to 278, so it's already down quite a bit. It's already down 50 plus points, and usually that's when you end up seeing a really strong move out of Roku. So I grabbed it. It did drop, so I considered to hold it because my thinking was it was going to have a $20 day, and it was because I had the 290. What did I have? I think I had the 290 calls. Yeah, I had the 290 calls, and we were at 280. So Roku has a habit of making $20, $30 moves when it gets momentum behind them, and the short interest is really, really high. So we could see a monster squeeze at this point, and it just didn't happen. So instead of stopping out and buying and getting faked out all the time all week, I just said, screw it. I'm going to hold it and see what happens, and I'm glad I did because I probably would have got faked out a couple times, and the move never happens, and then the analyst just downgraded it, so, and then it just got crapped on. It keeps going down. I mean, I really think, I've been saying this all week, that this thing is going to have a monster move. I don't think it's going to get to 200, but who really knows? I mean, this big area right here, the 230, 235 area. So anytime that it has these exaggerated moves and drops, it likes to bounce back up. So I would not be a bit surprised if we see Roku back up to 350 in the next couple of weeks, but who knows? Some other analysts will, Roku could get some momentum and the analysts could just crap on it again. So but yeah, I swung that and that ended up being lose number one. So let's see. Then I took PayPal. Let's see, PayPal. And I think I got put that down. Now, on PayPal, I grabbed the 220 calls at 150. Let's see, right here, 150. Oh yeah, I got it right here. Not one. Yeah, I got it at the price $1.50, but it was at 10.36. It was at this breakout right here. I was thinking it was going to break out because at this point in time, it is right. Let's see, is this the 15th, 16th? It had a nice drop from earnings, then it consolidated, then it finally broke out Is this the 15th? No, it's the 12th. On Saturday, I had an Saturday. I can't get my head in the game. Friday, it had a nice strong move. Then I was thinking, okay, if we can get over pre-market highs, that it will probably take off. And I was actually looking at it right here, but I had Twitter and SPX, so I kind of ignored it. But it kind of stayed at the VWAP 20 EMA right in here. It consolidated for a little bit, then it started to come back up. Now, usually when you have a little pop and a little drop and the consolidation staying right close to near to higher day, that it will break and have a nice strong move. So I was pretty confident that this was going to have a strong move. Now, if it just dropped down to here and consolidated, it probably would have double topped or rejected. But even though that's exactly what it did, but usually when you have it consolidating close to higher day, it usually has a strong move up. So I thought really PayPal was going to have a strong move. It didn't. So the 150 calls went to 166 and it just got rejected. So I just staying in a tight range on Monday. So it didn't quite do what I was hoping. So yeah, PayPal just, did a Roku. It just started to get momentum and just got shut down. So next one was, let's see, it's SPX. And this one I took a loss. Let's see. On the... Let me get the day right here. At 11:01, I took 4,700 calls at $1.85. 11:01 right here. Now we had that nasty drop, and we had this little bottom bounce right in here. Now I was looking at, it was holding, well, RCT trend lines right there first of all, and it's holding this 467.75 area. As you can see, it was resistance and it was support. So it was acting as support again. So it was a nice little pivot in this area. So I was watching it bounce. And I grabbed the 47 calls at 11:01, which is right in this candle right here, where it looked like it was going to do a V rally right in here. And it didn't. It just got slammed. So I lost that one and that little one right there, that dump right there. So I don't remember what that was. I can't remember what the news was. That it had to be something new, so I don't remember what it was. Then I had 46.90 calls at $2 at 11.59, which is right in this candle. Now, one of the things I like is that when you have these long, exaggerated candles like this right here, going from 467.73 down to 466.22. I mean, that is a 10-minute candle right there. And whenever you have these long, exaggerated candles, regardless of the news or regardless of what happens, usually they will retrace at least 50% of the way. And I grabbed it right here, and they went from $2 to, let's see, $2 to $2.45. So that little bounce, 460.90 calls. Yeah, I was probably out of the money there. Let me bring it over to SPX. Can't chart SPY because there's no VWAP. You just bring it on right here. I want to see how close I was at the money. Yeah, I was pretty far out of the money. That's why they didn't move as much, because price is at 46.75 and 46.90 was up here. So there were a few out of the money, so that's why they only moved 40 cents, was because of that. Probably should have got close to the money, but they were probably too expensive. Go back to SPY. Then I had, but if you just focus on the 50 cent plus wins, that you'll do pretty well with SPX. Just take the 50 cents plus, which wasn't quite 50 cents, it was 45, but if you sell into strength, that it makes it easier to get out of your position if you sell into strength, if it happens to go against you. So, and you're reducing risk, which is a big part of what I do. So then I ended up taking the 46.90 calls again at 12.40. Let me get the day right. 12.40, which is right in here, the double bottom. I got this little pop right there, rejected 200 EMA, double bottom right there. I thought about it right here, but sometimes you get the double bottoms like right here, double bottomed right in here. So actually, technically, there's triple, and it drops. So I didn't think it would drop more. I mean, considering it already dropped $3, almost $3, and that's a pretty decent range for SPY, considering that it hasn't really moved that much. It usually stays into a $2 to $3 range normally, but once in a while it has an extreme day where it'll move like $5 plus. But I don't know if I was going to do that this day, so I just kind of waited, and I grabbed it when it got over the 200 EMA right here, the purple line. So the 46.90 calls, I did grab those again at $1.65, and they did move. They did move better. I mean, they went from 165 to $2.55, so like 90 cents. So in this little pop, the bounce was definitely a lot bigger, so it did pay out a lot better. So almost $1 out of that. Then I ended up grabbing SPX calls again at 242. The 46.85 calls at 242, which is right here. Now I grabbed it going over the 200 EMA. The 185. The calls were 185. And they went from 185 to $3.20 right there. So they were closer at the money. So that's why they moved better. So that's one thing you need to do with expiration days. That's why I never ever average down. Because if you average down and it doesn't really bounce or chops, data will just crush it and eat it. And it's just better to wait for a better opportunity and get closer at the money, because you will make more money at the closer at the money options than you will trying to average down. So if you tried to average down on the 46.90, you probably would have barely broke even. But averaging down, but going to the 46.85 calls and just adjusting, you would have definitely made more money on those than averaging down. So. Obviously, I don't like averaging down, and I recommend not to do it, especially on expiration days. Now, if you're going out like long-term spreads or long-term plays, I mean, that's up to you. You can do that, but expiration days, I never do it. They either work or they don't, and if they don't, then I just wait for a better opportunity or a better play and just adjust accordingly. So that's just how I do things. Now, on Tuesday, I traded a lot on Monday, 7 times. I've been trading way too much. That might be one of the reasons why I took so many losses. But I mean, technically on Monday, between Roku, which I swung, which ended up being a loss, but at the end of the day, I only took one loss on Monday, which was the SPY calls right up in here. But because at that particular time, I was swinging the Roku calls. I didn't think they were going to be a loser yet. I really thought Roku was going to bounce big this week. I don't know. It's just very, very annoying. But anyways, moving forward, Disney. I took Disney. Let's see if I said anything on Disney on the 16th. Disney calls over 159.50 on the 16th, which is right here. 159.50 right in here. They did go over. I got the 162.50 calls at 64 cents, and it went to 79 cents. Not that big of a move. That's why non-expiration days are really not my favorite, but money's money. Then I took Snap, 54 calls. I should have taken Snap on that day. The thing that kind of annoyed me was that SPY, this is the 15th right here. And SPY's dumping. And Snap is popping on Monday. And I was actually looking at it, and the thing that held me back was SPY dumping. So that's why I missed this move. And I don't like trading against the market. I mean, I just really don't like doing that. So now on the 16th, I took Snap calls at 10.10, which is right here. Had this nasty drop now. It went back to the previous day's pre-market low, down to the RCT trend line, started to bounce. This is where I grabbed the Snap calls. I grabbed the 54 calls at $1 at 10.10, which is this candle right here. and they went from $1 to $1.75. So especially if you held all the way through this move, because this is where it really had a strong move right in here. So they went from $1 to $1.75. Just looks like it should have been a bigger move. Like I said, you get used to SPX's moves and small moves with big option moves that you just get spoiled. So when you see that, you're like, oh, that's it. That's all I did. And I do that all the time. I'm just like, when you see these big moves, I'm like, I feel like that should have gone a lot more than what it did. But you just get used to SPY moves, like I keep saying. Now I grabbed SPY puts at 11:39, which is right 11:39. Right? Where? What? Let me double check, make sure I get the right day. 16th, 11:39. I got it right here, right in there somehow. They went from $1.20 to $1.39. Why did I grab it there? And just blow up this area. Oh yeah, I guess I could see this area right in here. I got it a little premature, and I remember that there was a 470 wall on the week, but at this point in time it's Tuesday. I'm not trading Friday's expiration, but I was looking at Friday's expiration knowing that there was a huge call wall at 470, and it's been rejecting this area right here, 469.55 on the 9th and the 8th. So plus it did break out a pre-market high on Monday. So, I mean, it did have a nice little pop, but I was just looking at this and the call wall. So I kind of got out a little prematurely. You know, it's right around 469.90 that I grabbed it. So it's pretty close to 470. So I really thought we were going to drop to the 200 EMA, because usually when you have these strong moves outside of the 20 EMA and the moving averages, that one of two things happened. It either pulls back and retests the moving average and pulls back, or it chops and brings the moving average up, and it just kind of chopped a little bit, brought it up a little bit, then it just kept going. But yeah, I was really thinking that we were going to get a dump here. Then it actually did break out and had a little false breakout and come back down. So I probably should have played this rising wedge right here, because it was pretty clear that it was a rising wedge, and I didn't play that part. I was kind of annoyed with Tuesday that just wasn't getting the big moves and stuff like that. I was not expecting this monster play out of SPY. Completely missed it. I don't know what I was doing. I think I was just I don't remember, but I did like the 470 rejection. Just the move wasn't there, so didn't get much out of it. Only had like 19 cents. So I was like, okay, I've had enough for today. Then let's see. I had a couple spreads that I had going, which I'll cover right now. I had the Nike. I might have to go to the daily on these. I had Nike spread started on the 28th of September. So I'll go back here, the 28th, right in here. Now I had let's see, the Nike debit spread of 175, buying 175 calls, selling 180 calls for the price of 125. And I got it right down in here. They went right into the money, close to in the money. I didn't sell right in here. I missed it, and it dipped back. And I was like, okay, the next time it gets in this 175 area, I'm going to take it. So on this week, it did get into the 175. I took it, I think, this day right here, Wednesday. This is where I took it right here. I probably should have waited, but I got it for 125, sold at 235. So that was a nice little play right there, and that was a nice long-term spread. You know, we got a rate down here next to the 200 moving average. Nice bounce. And the other one was Microsoft. Microsoft I got on the 28th, the same day, which is down here, this day right here. And I had buy 345 calls, sell 350 calls for 90 cents. Sold it right in here, and I sold it at $2.45. So got a nice play on both of those spreads. So very happy with those. Now, I love doing spreads because you can go in heavy and you don't have to really worry about time unless it's something a little closer. But I try to go really far out, like a couple years, because of these particular spreads I did, they were Nike's was January 20th, 2023, and Microsoft, I gave more time. I went to 2024, so they had plenty of time. So definitely liked those two plays. Now I did swing SPY calls overnight on Wednesday. Let's see. I grabbed them right at 254, which is right. Where did I grab them? Right here. I was thinking we were going to get a bounce off the 20 EMA, and it didn't. So I held the calls overnight because one of the things I was thinking was that this wall at 470, the only way I think SPY was at this particular time, my mindset was thinking that there's a call wall of 470, and I think that during the day it's going to keep rejecting it, and the only way it's going to get over 470 is to gap it up overnight and probably sell off the next day. So I thought we've seen it a number of times with SPY. We'll have a big resistance point and they will gap it up huge overnight and it will dump the next day. So that's the easiest way to get through major resistance with SPY, is that if they can't get through it during the day, is to gap it up overnight where there's less resistance and less selling and stuff like that. So my mentality was they were gonna gap it up to 471 plus, get over that 471 area, and possibly drop on market open. And it just didn't. It just never gapped up, stayed flat, and sold off at open. So yeah, I lost that one right away. Okay, the next one I had was Apple calls at open on the 17th. Now I said pre-market Apple calls under. I put under. I just noticed I put under 140, 150, 140. I meant to put over. So I grabbed a rate at open, the 150, 250 calls at 65 cents, and they went from 65 cents to $2.77, which is a 300% move. He held all the way through. I had a nice little run on Tuesday, so I was looking just for more continuation and stuff like that. And it did have a lot of continuation, because this is what, the 17th right here on the hourly. And it just kept going. I mean, those calls be up quite a bit. I wonder what they finished at for the week. Let me take a quick look. Yeah, I just looked. They went to $8.55. So that was a nice strong move if he held the entire week. But I mean, obviously I didn't. I don't think anybody did in the room, at least not that I know of. But yeah. Then I had Microsoft calls. I had 342.50 calls at 10:16 on the 17th, which is right here. Actually, let me get the right day. 17th is right here. Let me see what was SPY doing this day. One of the days SPY was dumping. Okay, it was the other day. Okay, it was Thursday, not Wednesday. Because one of the days SPY was dumping and Microsoft was still popping. So yeah, I grabbed Microsoft calls right at 10:16, which is right here. It dropped it open, bounced off the 200 EMA, got close to the pre-market highs, and when I got it right in here as an anticipation that it's gonna break over pre-market highs and higher day, and it did. So the calls I got at 83 cents, and they went from 83 cents to $1.86. So they were a nice 100% move in that nice little J hook. Now, if you're not familiar with what a J hook is, usually you'll see a J hook on a lot of the plays. Like they'll open right here, they'll drop and they'll come back up and they'll create literally a little J. So you can see like the little J right there. Sometimes they create an inverted J, which means that, let's see if there's one that, find one that did it this on this chart here. No, I'm not going to see one right away. No. But yeah, the J hooks and inverted J hooks end up being pretty good. And like I said, that inverted basically means that it opens, pops a little bit, then it comes back and sells back down. So a good entry place to get on these J hooks is when it drops and comes back up to retest the previous day, well, not previous day, sorry, but the previous candle's higher day, which should be right here. So that was a nice clean play. So that was a 100% move right there. Then I ended up taking, let's see, SPX 4705 calls at 11:42. What? Okay, I was like, wait a minute here. Why I can't get the ticker in right? Okay, there we go. I just can't get the ticker right today. Let's see. This is where it was trading in a tight channel on the 17th. So I got it at 11:42, which is right, and I should have got it right there. 11:42 right here. Probably should have grabbed it right there, but I was in Microsoft, I think, at that point. But drops, comes back up, flags a little bit. I grabbed it on this little breakout right here, a little push, thinking that it was going to break higher day. I mean, you're looking at that it's at 469, only dropped a couple dollars, not even $2, $1.50, and it could easily, SPY likes to act ridiculous and fake out a lot of people. So fake weakness and just squeeze, but it didn't squeeze as much. It did reject pre-market highs and opening candle high. So, but we got this little move right there. Those 4705 calls. Got it at $1.70, and they did go from $1.70 to $2.85. So got a dollar plus move on that. Then I ended up grabbing SPX 4695 calls at 12:30, which is right here, close to a double bottom. Had these long, exaggerated red candles. I mean, it went from higher day to almost lower day in a couple candles, so that's pretty extreme. We've seen a lot more extreme candles than that, but I was thinking, okay, we were going to double bottom and bounce, because SPY likes to do that. They like to, lower day likes to get bought up and bounce, so that's why I ended up getting the 46.95 calls at 220, and they went from 220 to $4.60, so 100% move on that. Then I ended up grabbing 46.85 puts at 221, which is right here. Thinking, okay, I'm looking at this. You get a little bit of a left shoulder here, a head, and a right shoulder, and I thought for sure we were going to come down here in this area and just dump and really sell off at the end of the day, and it didn't. It bounced and kind of went sideways, but ended up taking a loss on that. So I kind of misread that. I really thought that that was going to play out. The head and shoulders was right there, a little mini left head, right shoulder. I thought for sure it was going to dump, but just didn't. So that was another loss. But that, that was a loss that, I probably should have waited down here a little more and it wouldn't have been a loss. But I guess sometimes I just get a little I was just looking at the talking about Biden's was supposed to announce his final decision on the Fed chair 4 days ago, and and here it is, the fifth day. So, anyways, yeah. So I mean, I could have been a little more patient and wait for it to get lower. So I did make quite a few mistakes and stuff like that. Now on let's see, Thursday I had Microsoft. This is the day that Microsoft, let me put SPY up. Okay. Microsoft. This was the day that I was watching Microsoft and SPY together. Now I had Microsoft 342 calls at 84 cents. Now I bought it right here at higher day. I was really annoyed about that. Now one of the things I was looking at is as SPY is dumping, Microsoft is popping, and then it decided to drop a little bit here. I got it right near the higher day, then it just chopped down to dropped down to 200 EMA and VWAP, bounced back up, came near higher day again, dropped to VWAP, came back up near higher day again. As it's doing this, making this symmetrical triangle right here, actually you could say that's an ascending. Well, no, it's making a little bit of lower high, making higher low. So yeah, it's more of a symmetrical triangle right here. As it's making this pattern right here, SPY is dropping. So 1020, which is right here, SPY is reversing. So I'm thinking, okay, Microsoft held really well during this sell-off on SPY. So I was thinking, okay, it finally does break. It's going to take off. I mean, I did have it here, and I held through right here, but actually at the point in time, I was thinking, great, I did something really stupid, and I ended up taking another loss. But I ended up just waiting it out, kept looking at SPY, thinking SPY is going to bounce. And when it does, Microsoft's going to go with it. And my thesis ended up being right, and Microsoft did take off. So those 342.50 calls, I got at 84 cents, went to $1.57. So they were a nice little play, almost 100% move, not quite. But this little pop, I ended up selling in. So I got out, I think I got out right in here. But yeah, the next one was SPY. I'll bring this back over to the hourly because I don't like, even though I should keep it side by side and sort of do the videos, but SPY, I had SPY calls at 1022. Okay, 1022. Okay, this is the one where you had this long red candle I talked about earlier, exaggerated candle that comes back and retraces. Now I got the 467 calls at 128, and they went to 333, so 100% move plus. I actually nailed the bottom of this little drop, and it just V rallied completely. So I actually thought about maybe shorting it in here, but I didn't. So I just was like, whatever. But yeah, that was a nice little move because anytime, like I said, been saying throughout the video, you have these long red candles, exaggerated moves, 468 to, I mean, that one candle right there is $1.25. I mean, that's a really ridiculous move. So I did get that retracement right there. So that was a nice little play. Now I did grab SPX puts at 11. Yeah, I did grab it right there. Okay, for some reason I thought I didn't grab it right there. But yeah, I did grab it right here for a quick little play. Right here. 11.51. Okay, I did grab it right here. I see why I grabbed it here because we had this big drop. This is pre-market support right here, now acting as resistance. And you had a $3 plus drop from here to $3 plus rebound. So I figured we're going to have a little bit of resistance, at least reject here and come back down to the moving averages, and it didn't quite drop as much, but I had the 46.75 puts at $4, and they went from $4 to $4.80, so they went 80 cents in that little drop. Didn't end up popping more, but I did see why I would grab it there. Normally that's where I would think about grabbing it, but sometimes SPY, and that's why I get in and out really quick, sometimes SPY just acts ridiculous. I remember one other time that it dropped $3 or $4 and thinking it was going to do the same thing, and it was not too long ago. It was like a couple weeks ago that I was thinking, okay, it already dropped $3 or $4. There's no way it's going to break higher day and keep going, and it did. It ended up breaking higher day, ended up going like another $2 or $3. So I kind of just got out of that mindset and realized that, you know, just take the 50 cents plus when you have it, get out. I'm glad I did, because if I tried to hold for a home run, which I don't really suggest doing, because you're gonna lose more than you gain trying to get those big long home runs. It's not worth it. Stick to base hits, and right there would have been paid off. But you know, I probably should have waited, you know, and got it up here, but whatever, it is what it is. That would have been a much cleaner, better play right there. But I just like, okay, I've had enough for the day. We nailed the bottom of this. We got a decent Microsoft play, and got a little bit of a play right here. I was hoping it would be better, but yeah, I probably should have waited. But Gotta win. Nice little 80 cent win right there. So I can't complain. So yeah. Now on Friday is the day that I ended up having not a very good day. Let's see. I had 4 wins and 3 losses, and 3 losses were just in one day on Friday. Now I'm just looking at the Trade Ideas channel. Now, as you can see, this is unedited version, so you're going to get me stumbling a lot and me kind of like scratching my head, wondering why I did that. Because you're thinking, I'm looking back thinking, okay, what was I thinking at this point? And sometimes I remember it, sometimes I don't, but usually I do. Now, on Friday, I took Roku calls right to open. I said Roku calls over 244, which is right 244. Okay, it'd help if I had Roku up, right? Okay, here we go. Roku's up, 244. That's really higher, but I did end up grabbing it over pre-market high rate in here. Thinking that, you know, the reason I picked 244 is that this previous day's high, I probably should have stuck with that. And I got it prematurely. I got it right in here. Thinking I like to buy before the break, in anticipation of the break, because I'm thinking also, you know, back to what I was thinking before the analysts came out, that it was going to have a $20, $30 move. So I was like, okay, I want to get in, because sometimes they have these monster open range candles that end up going $10 just in the first candle. And I didn't want to wait for the first candle to make and find out it's up here at $2 at $250. I wanted to wait. I mean, I didn't want to wait. And, you know, 'cause sometimes with Roku, where we'll have these monster open candles and they'll end up selling off, like right here it did and right here it did. And I don't want to buy calls up here. So I saw the 244 level, and as I was gaining strength, I decided to grab it right here. I grabbed the 250 calls at 65 cents. So I bought it in anticipation of the break, and I was thinking the 250 calls at 65 cents, that's pretty cheap. So that's a pretty good risk reward. If it doesn't work out, I mean, it's not that much of a big deal. It's not like I bought it for $2 or $3. I mean, it's at 65 cents, so it's very, very cheap. And if it did work out, I mean, it could end up being a 200, 300, 400% move. And to me, the risk reward was there, and it fell apart. I probably should have waited to 244 to break. I probably would have had a strong move, and I wouldn't have taken a loss if I did that. I just didn't want to take Roku again throughout the week, because like I said, that it just keeps doing this all week. Strong open drop, strong open drop. I mean, it's just been doing this all week except that day, obviously. This day, strong open, kind of like a week, but started to gain some strength, and it just sold off. It's been doing that all week, and it's been very, very annoying. And I didn't want to chase Roku every single day and taking a loss every single day, because Roku is just, I don't know, can't get into gear and just can't take off. It's just, it's acting like Boeing, just like can't just get any momentum. Any momentum it gets just gets shut down. So yeah, so that was first loss of the day. Then I ended up taking SPY puts at, let's see, look at the timestamp, 10:10, which is right here, right here. I got the 46.80 puts at 310. Now pop back up, came back down, and I grabbed it as it was breaking underneath these candles right here. I see all these are wicking right here on the 200 EMA, which is the purple line. I went for the break below, and those 46.80 puts went from 310 to 370. And that little drop, you got your 60 cents plus, take your 50 cents, get out, which I did. And then I ended up grabbing the 46.85 puts at 1052, which is right 1052 right here. Rejection off the PDC line, previous day's close. This is a white line, as you can see. Rejected, pop back up, harsh rejection, which we took right here. Came back up, rejected again. I grabbed it again right there. The 46.85 puts this time. I got a better strike at $2.30, and they went from $2.30 to $3.30, so you got a dollar move out of that. And then I had Tesla, and Tesla was one that I had Tesla calls at 11:04. I had the three at 11:04. I had the 11:25 calls at $2.48, which was right here, the double top, right there. I grabbed that right. Let's see. 11:04. Yeah, right there. Quick little move. I got them at $2.48, and they went for 15. If you held all the way through, which was through this exaggerated move, I ended up selling them, close to almost $3, I think, $3, whatever. But yeah, they went to from 248 to a 1540. Now I did try to short it right here, and I'll skip ahead and go because I grabbed puts right here. Let me just double check the timestamp. Now the reason I grabbed puts was it was news. 12:14, right? 12:14, right here. No, 12:14, right here. Now there was news that came out about sexual harassment at the plants and supervisors ignoring it and stuff like that. So I was like, okay. Usually when you have a lawsuit with sexual harassment, that's a huge black eye to a company. Stock will at least react a little bit. I was expecting a drop to at least because I had the 1090 puts at 172. At least expecting that kind of a drop, a little bit of a reaction. And usually when you have news like that, the stocks usually end up tanking or reacting so much. And Tesla just did not care. Just was like shrugged it off, didn't care, and took off. And which was kind of baffled me. I really thought that it was gonna take off, and it didn't. It didn't. I mean, it took off, yeah, but I can't believe it took off on bad news like that when it should have dropped. But Tesla just doesn't care about the news. Either the SPY. Bad news is good news. Good news is good news. So it is what it is. So I got rid of I talked about the Tesla on that, the sexual harassment thing. I just thought I would have bet that this would have dropped at least to 1090 or even lower, but it just didn't. It just kept going. I just was scratching my head all afternoon just thinking, this is ridiculous. I just can't believe that normal stocks would have dropped, and this just kept going. But Tesla's anything but normal. So the next one I had was SPX 46.95 puts at 11.17, which is rate 11.17. Where are you? Right here? No, right here. Did I go for the double top? Yeah, that's what I did right here. This was another loss on top of the Roku had opened. Tesla puts, which was about the lawsuit that did an opposite reaction. And then this one right here, I grabbed the 46.95 puts at 260. Now I was thinking, okay, double top rejection. Also thinking that we have the 470 the call wall. It's going to get rejected. And this is one I do remember regretting. I ended up stopping out. It popped up, and I ended up stopping out at 1. I got them at 260, and yet they went to, I remember they went in the money, and they went to like $5 or something like that. So I stopped out. I don't get, sometimes when I stop out, they end up going. That's why I usually hold the lottos and just let them play out, because sometimes, most of the times, they do end up working out. My thesis was right. I just got in my own head and just decided to stop out. So it just popped up over 470. Then it quickly got shut down. It did close underneath 470, which was my whole thesis was all about, that it was going to close under 470. I should have just stuck with it. And that was a loss I didn't need to take, and I did. So yeah, I was not too happy about that. Then the final one was I had 475 calls. 475 5 calls at $3 at 150, which is right here. These exaggerated drop again, coming back down to the double bottoms. It loves actually triple bottom if you count this candle, double, triple right there. It's just where I grabbed it. The 47.05 calls at $3, and they went from $3 to $5.60 in that little move. So technically, I took 2 or 3 losses I didn't need to. Roku, I shouldn't have taken. I should have waited for the 244 level. I shouldn't have stopped out of the SPX right in here. I should have kept that because that would ended up being a good winner. And I just took a lot of stupid risks this week. I should have only had 3 or 4 losses versus 7. So yeah, it is what it is. It's part of trading. Nothing you can do about it except for just move forward and then try to be more patient next week. Now next week's going to be a short week because of Thanksgiving, so but I'll cover that in the watch list. So that's going to do it for the video. I hope this has helped you understand why I did. I know I did a lot of ranting. I know this is a long video, so thanks for watching.